Now, as I mentioned, this was a record-breaking snowfall, but if you think we got it bad in Halton, it was even worse in Toronto, and that doesn't happen often. So for a historical look at the storm, we called in one of the very best. Dave Phillips has been covering weather for Environment Canada since 1957. I spoke to the senior climatologist earlier today and asked him just how significant this snowfall is.
Well, Jason, it's a big one. I mean, I could probably count 10 kind of in my history of 50 years of weather watching. This is really one of the big ones because it hit sort of obviously the biggest city in Canada. But I don't remember, Jason, a storm in Ontario where Toronto led the way with regards to the amount of snow. I mean, often you see that where I live up in Barrie or in Huntsville or Ottawa or London. But boy, the fact that Toronto just absolutely demolished previous records. I mean, if we look at the record for the city, we have yesterday we got 46 centimeters of snow, but downtown they got 56. I mean, Jason, that doesn't often happen, but it really tells you a lot about the storm. It tells you that the closer you were to the lake, the more snow you were going to see. The other thing, Jason, really shocks me is the dryness of the snow. I mean, if you squeezed all of that snow and got down to what the moisture in that snow would be, it was a total of, like, for example, the 46 centimeters of snow. You realized at Pearson you got about 17 millimeters of water. Mm-hmm. It was like a 25-to-1 ratio. And it tells you how fluffy it was. You couldn't keep it down. The winds that picked up at 48 kilometers per hour just took that snow and blew it around several times. You had to shovel, plow it, and push it 3 or 4 times before it would kind of settle down. It was full of air, very fluffy. You can't make a snowball from it. It's easier to shovel and sweep, but you couldn't get rid of it. It just kept it in the air. And that's why we had these visibility from 11 in the morning to about 7 at night was less than a half a kilometer. You couldn't see the front of your car in some of these situations.
So Dave, out here in Halton, obviously, we saw Oakville and Burlington get hit a lot harder than Halton Hills and Milton. But overall, this has been a winter of snow. Did we see this coming? And is there going to be more of it as we continue on? Because it's only the end of January, and February is normally not very nice, Dave. So is there more snow coming?
Well, absolutely. I mean, well, look at this week, Jason, and I don't see any. Often when you get an event like this, you got kind of a change of weather, and then it turns kind of, in this case, it might be turning mild and thawing and things like this. Well, not. In fact, it's going to get colder. I mean, I don't see any melting temperature at all. I mean, what nature gave us is not taking it away. I mean, we're just going to have to get rid of it ourselves. So there's no rain, there's no melting temperatures. I mean, this snow is going to stay and be liable to be picked up by another storm. We see this week, we see any major storm. We see clippers that come through and we'll bring maybe a dusting of snow a little bit, pick up the flurries or the loose snow that you have and whip it around. So it's going to be quite, and I looked at February. I'm a good news guy. I'd like to bring you some good news. And I just don't see any there at all. We just think of the next 2 or 3 weeks. I don't see a melting temperature at all. The sun is getting long. I mean, we're seeing more daylight by about almost 2.5 minutes a day. The sun's a little higher in the sky, but there's no warmth from the sun at this time of the year. So more of the same, maybe not as much of the snow. It was well forecasted. I think I'm very proud of the fact that the forecast, we got it right. Sometimes you can miss it, but this one was clearly, and we really focused on that lake effect. The fact that full 400 imagine a parcel of air coming from Syracuse, crossed 400 kilometers of open water, and then just slammed into the city. Now, we saw quite a variation in the city, but like, for example, in Burlington, it was anywhere from 15 to 30 centimeters of snow. So that's the other thing about this Jason, it wasn't just all the same amount of snow everywhere. It was spread out. You could have more in your front yard than your backyard, depending on how close you were to the lake. We saw Waterdown had 30 centimeters of snow. Brampton had 18. As I mentioned, Kitchener, Waterloo, 10 to 15. So there was a base of snow from this system from the United States. I would say it was probably 10 to maybe 20 centimeters of snow. Anything above that was in fact probably induced from the lake. And the very open Lake Ontario is only frozen over twice in the last 100 years, and they were for only minutes at a time. So the lake was wide open. Only about a quarter of it has some ice up in the northern part of the lake basin, but really it was just absolutely easterly winds that came right down and just slammed into Toronto, and we saw the result. And our forecast was from 20 to 40 centimeters of snow. Well, we got a little bit more than that, but that range was right because we couldn't say whether these lake effect streamers or bursts would stay in effect. It depended really if the wind shifted by 10 degrees, well, you could end the snow and create it somewhere else. So all the misery was focused on Toronto because these streamers just had a target, a bullseye for Toronto, and then we saw the snow, the result of it.